you just picked up a Sony A7CII, or A7CR, or even an A7C Mark I, you might be looking at some smaller, more compact friendly lenses. This video is going to be for you. We're going to be covering my favorite options and what is available out there. Let's be honest, the bigger lenses, like you're used to using, are just too big when it comes to putting them on this camera. So you want to be using something that just fits a little bit nicer, balances better when you're using the camera. Now, there isn't really a huge amount of options out there. Sony did bring out a trio of lenses a couple of years ago, which we'll touch on, but a lot of the smaller, more compact lenses that I like are older ones. Now, with the older lenses, it means you aren't going to be getting all the bells and whistles that you might be used to with on the G Masters and with on the G lenses, where you now have aperture rings on everything. You have all the buttons and switches that you could possibly want. You don't get that on the old lenses. Generally speaking, you're lucky if you get a focus ring, and it is a non-linear focus ring, meaning it's very much a focus by wire lens. So if you're trying to replicate the same movement in manual focus, it's very, very hard. So there is quirks and limitations with these older lenses. They may have a few flaws here and there. They're not perfect like the new lenses, but you might actually kind of like that. Gives it a little bit of character. Also, because they're older, not a lot of people are buying them, you can get them incredibly cheap on the used market, which we will kind of cover as well. Now, my favorite of all the lenses to use, the compact ones, is this 28mm f2. Very simple lens, very small lens, balances really nicely on the A7C Mark II here. All you get is a focus ring. That is it. You've got a 49mm filter thread on the front there, so it is a tiny little lens, but look at it. It goes on there so nicely. I love 28mm just for generally walking about, for street photos, just for shooting pictures of my kids. It is f2, so you still get nice depth in there. You still get good low light abilities compared to an f2.8, which I know a lot of people are going to be concerned with. That is a big thing to note with these older lenses and with smaller lenses in general as well. When you have more compact lenses, you're not really going to be getting f1.8s, f1.4s like you do in the G Masters and the G series of lenses. You're looking at f2.8s, f2.5s, f2s like the 28mm here. With these smaller lenses as well, you can get nice little accessories for them, like this little lens hood here, which I got from Amazon. These are super cheap. It's made of metal, and this goes on the front of 28mm nicely there. It does add a little bit of size to it, obviously, but I quite like the look of that. And the nice thing with this is it also fits on my next favorite lens, which is the 35mm f2.8, which has this very interesting lens hood on it when you buy it, but this one fits on it as well. And the nice thing with this lens is you can put a filter on it, like I have my black satin 3 on here, and the lens hood will fit on the front there, as will the one that comes with it, which is, I've never seen a Sony lens that has a lens hood like this. It's very unique, but kind of looks nice. There's also a Zeiss lens, so you know it's sharp, you know it has good optics at the time of when it came out. This is even smaller than the 28mm. If we put it on the A7CII here, you'll see quite a bit shorter, in fact. So you might prefer that as a general everyday lens. f2.8 on this one, and you can get this for cheap. What it is right now to buy brand new, it's $598, but if you search Sony 35mm f2.8, you'll see the used market is just flooded with them. So on B&H there, look, there's tons, depending on the quality you want to buy. 465, 448, 406, and you might be thinking, well, why am I going to spend that much on an old lens when I can get the G series of lens for like a little bit more, quite a bit more, but you know what I mean. Well, it's because it's compact. The 35mm G f1.4, which came out this year, is a lot bigger, a lot bigger. It's actually very similar in size, if not identical, to the 24mm. So there you go. If you want to see the big difference, that's why you're getting these smaller, more compact lenses, because they just fit on the body nicer. Now, next up from the 35mm is the 55mm Zeiss, which is an incredibly popular lens, ridiculously sharp. Don't own it anymore, but I've done a video on it, a couple of videos on it, which you can watch on my YouTube. I'll link them up here for you and down below in the comments. It is a very, very sharp Zeiss lens. So if you like that 50mm look, you like something that's compact, because it's a little bit bigger than this. For a 55mm f1.8, it's the only f1.8 out of all the lenses we'll be talking about today. It's $898 brand new right now, but if you look used, $493. Like, the used market isn't the same for these older lenses because no one's buying them. That will probably change after this video. Now, Sony did bring out this trio of lenses, which I have done a video on. This one right here, you can watch that up there. They brought these out recently, last couple of years, and there's a 24mm f2.8, there's a 40mm f2.5, and where's the other one? 50mm f2.5, and these are G series of lenses. So with these ones, you do get the aperture ring on there, you do get the autofocus manual focus switch. These lenses are great, I've tried them all out, they're sharp. They're definitely more perfect than these older ones, but they are on the pricier sides of things. Even if you want to buy those on the used market, they're still, because they're new, still pretty pricey. Because they're also really small, like they're smaller than this 35 here, you are only getting on the 50 f2.5, on the 40 f2.5, and then on the 24 f2.8. So for those, you're really paying for the fact that they are so small, plus they have the newer features. And then the other option that you have to really consider is APS-C. Because the A7C II, the A7CR even more so, and the A7C all have a crop mode. So what you'll see is if you assign a custom button, I have my C1 button assigned here. We're at 33 megapixels in full frame mode, but if we go to crop mode, it's 14 megapixels, which may still be enough for you. Where the A7CR, it's even more megapixels because it's a 61 megapixel camera. So don't write off the APS-C lenses. I'll show you exactly what I mean with that, because this one is quite interesting here. This is a 16mm f2.8 APS-C lens, and it's going to be obvious why this one might appeal to you, because it's silver. It's not the same silver as the A7C II here, because it's more of like a chromey silver, but it matches really nice, and it's really small. Look at it compared to the 35 there. Again, you just have a focus ring on this. So if we take it out of full frame mode here, you'll see what happens when you shoot with an APS-C lens. You see this ring around the outside there? That's your vignette. Essentially, what's happening is that little hole there, which is where the light's obviously coming through, is a lot smaller than the sensor size. So the sensor is picking up the edges of that hole right there. So what you need to do is you need to crop in past that point and use less of the sensor, like use the middle of the sensor, which is what cropping in does. And when you do that, it removes the vignette, you get less megapixels, but now you can use APS-C lenses. So this 16mm becomes the equivalent of a 24mm f2.8. The benefit here is that it looks really nice, perfect for a street photo because it's so small, so compact, and it's still 24mm. And with this lens, you can actually get a couple of wide angle adapters. There's a 21mm one, and there's this really unique 16mm fisheye adapter as well, which literally just doesn't even screw on, it clips on, kind of goes on like the lens attaches to the body. And what that does is, that's what it looks like when it's in full frame mode. But if you put it in crop mode, you get this really strange fisheye look. So if you want that super wide fisheye look, that's a way to do it. And those adapters, again, they're super cheap on the used market. That 16mm f2.8 is $248. I mean, it's out of stock right now, but I wonder if they have it. Yeah, there you go. $202 if you want to get it on the used market. And with the fisheye converter, it also attaches to the 28mm. So if you want to see how that looks, so that's without the fisheye converter on there, and that's with the fisheye converter on there. So it's not really something you're going to be looking at, but just know that there is options out there to cover you for all these kinds of things.